coming up next, we have the book launch of The Pilani Pioneers, written by Gaurav Mandlecha and Durjai Sethi. I'm sure you've heard of Hari Menon of Big Basket, Baba Kalyani, the managing director of Bharat Forge, Harish Bhatt, who's Tata Sons brand custodian, or Dabur's longest serving CEO, Sunil Duggal. But do you know what's common between them all? Any answers? Well, I guess no one. So they've all emerged from the portals of BITS Pilani, and that's why the book, including them. For this book, Gaurav and Durjai have profiled 12 such accomplished startup founders, entrepreneurs, and CEOs. In fact, Ganesh, did you know that Manan Rathor, who's co-founded Main Cross, our community partner this year, he's also an alumnus of BITS Pilani. So we were just discussing about, what a coincidence it is.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah. Well, over to him. I'd love to tell you a little more about him as well. So an ex-advertising hand, Ganesh Vancheeswaran is a catalyst for people's self-expression. In this capacity, he is a writer and writing coach, editor of books, and person branding coach. There's a story to that, person branding coach. It's not
Yes.
just personal.
Yes,
Also, he is the author of the popular book, The Underage CEOs, fascinating stories of young Indians who become entrepreneurs who became entrepreneurs in their 20s. He runs 2 sought-after workshops, The Right Path and Person Branding Unpacked. You can read more about it on his website. So over to you, Ganesh.
Hi, Gaurav. Hi, Durjai.
Hi, Ganesh.
Hello.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank
Really
you for
excited.
having us. Yeah,
Welcome.
and Pooja, thanks for the kind introduction as well. Thanks so much.
Not at all. Yeah, not at all. A pleasure having you and a pleasure launching your book on this platform. So congrats on that. Congrats on the launch of your book, The Pilani Pillars. Tell me something. How are you guys feeling now? What's top of your mind? What are your thoughts? How do you feel?
Durjai, you want to go first?
Actually, there's a lot of stuff happening around the book. Being first-time authors, we started writing the book when we were 22, and I think we are not that old now. I mean, we're
How old
still
are you?
kids.
No. Let me nail you down. How old are you?
We're just 24, and
wow. Brilliant.
we are still overwhelmed by the entire experience, by the process of writing a book and meeting these stalwarts and the entire process of launching the book. So we are still looking at the process with starry eyes.
Super. Gaurav, you want to add to that?
No, I think Durjai captured it all for us.
I
think it's a very overwhelming feeling. 2 young folks starting out their dreams and actually bringing it to fruition. So I think, been a surreal journey for sure.
I can imagine, yeah. So soak it in, completely soak it in, and let the experience last as long as it can. Stretch it out, space it out. Tell me, you said young, yes, you. Did this idea occur to you? Either one,
yeah. We start the genesis of this idea was when we were in our final years of college. We wanted to organize a leadership summit, much like Harvard US India Initiative, Wharton India Economic Forum, and then later have a BITS leadership summit, right? Because again, BITS has had some amazing CEO stalwarts, and we wanted to invite them on a platform so that there can be a dialogue between students. But we realized, that was a more synchronous sort of an arrangement, but books are more lifelong and asynchronous. People can consume them. So for us, it was like, hey, we as 22-year-olds just graduating, we want to be where a lot of these CEOs are, right? So what is it that they did? What were their learnings? And what are a few things if we follow what they did, the chances of us getting there would increase, right? So that was the idea for us, to profile these people, understand what worked out for them, what didn't, what were their learnings, and if we can follow the learnings that they've had, I'm sure we'll reach places. So that was the idea, for young people to know what to do in their careers and get where these people are.
Right. So that's interesting, how you tweaked this idea of learning, of sharing, of hearing from people from your seminars, symposia, the conferences that you were holding, right? You tweaked that to a different format. So you thought, why not make these lessons last lifelong? So why not bring them out in the form of a book? Wonderful. Super. Yes, Durjai, you want to add something? Your own perspective to, the shaping of this thought and how this effort got started?
Sure, Ganesh. As Gaurav mentioned, we just changed the format in which we wanted to deliver these insights. But the idea was that even though, as Pooja mentioned in the introduction, that these 25 people, what they have in common is that they graduated from BITS Pilani. That is true. But when you zoom in, what does it mean to graduate from BITS Pilani? There are certain a variety of reasons that the common thread is not just being Bitsin. It's about having success and making a meaningful impact through your professional journeys. So instead of just viewing these 25 people as Bitsins, we wanted to view them as people who have successfully made a meaningful impact through their careers. If you take Padma Bhushan Baba Kalyani ji, for example, through Pratham Foundation, he's doing good for the larger community. Let's say if you take Mr. Abhishek Kumbhat, the founder of Good Era, he is channelizing all CSR activities to innovatively solve problems in the sector of underprivileged individuals and organizations. So you'll find innovative solutions that are creating meaningful impact, deep impact to the society as a whole. So these people, in our eyes, they're successful givers. They are not taking a bigger piece of the pie. They're just baking a larger pie so that everyone has, so everyone has more to take.
Nice. So one thing I love from what you said just now is that your stories haven't focused only on their corporate journeys, only on their business life. It hasn't, right? You've also spoken about the larger impact, societal work, off-corporate work that they've done, right? Excellent. I think that's very, very useful. And I think it's very relevant because I believe more and more that profit plus purpose is the way to go. I do believe that, one has to run businesses with compassion. And I think there are enough leaders out there demonstrating that. So will we find some of such stories in your book? I think the answer is yes.
For sure, Ganesh. And like you mentioned that the elements of giving back are present in every story, be it in the professional lives or through the personal lives. I think the same sentiment has been embodied and passed on from one batch to the other, in BITS especially. And through this, I'm so happy to share that Gaurav had this wonderful idea of making this book pro bono. We are not taking any money through it. All the author royalties will be donated to a scholarship at BITS. And that's what something that we want to share with our peers, that you needn't wait till you're 60 to start giving back. You can do it anytime and with little gestures. So that is something we are really excited about.
So I find that very touching, and that gives me a great opening into my next question. Let's talk about the Institute, right? After all, it's all about people who've passed through the hallowed portals of BITS Pilani. So what is the ethos of the Institute? What makes these BITSian leaders, these BITSian givers, these startup founders, what makes them such people? What is it about the Institute?
Yeah, so we could give you the textbook answer or give you the real answer, which is
give us the real answer.
Yeah. So if you believe us, for these 25 interviews, the number of emails that we had to write, all of them were cold emails. The number of emails that we had to write was just 28.
Arey, wow.
So imagine the hit rate of the cold emails, right? Unreal.
So I'm also reading that you got ready responses from the people you wrote to.
Yeah.
Instant and ready.
Yes. The only reason for that is we share the common bond of being a BITSian. What that means is, as Durjai was saying, somewhere in the 60s or 70s, one batch would have thought that, hey, let us help the juniors who are upcoming in the next batch and let us help them. So when one batch received help from their seniors, they passed it on to their juniors. And imagine this compounding over 50 years, right? So for us as Bitsians, I mean, a simple thought is pay it forward. Like, it doesn't matter if we have had overlap time in college or not. It doesn't matter if it's a warm introduction from someone for us to help each other. All that matters is that, hey, if there is something that I can help you with, I'll do it. I mean, I don't need any other vested interests or other motivations to help you.
Or
right?
I don't need a push to do that.
I don't need a push to do that, right? So, and that has really helped us again with young people. I mean, for us traveling across 8 cities. So the project took us like 1,000 days, over 3 years to complete it. Luckily, almost like all interviews happened pre-pandemic, so we got the chance to meet them in person. We traveled to San Francisco, Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, Pune, Mumbai, all of these places to interview them, and they were kind enough to give us their times. So I think it's very inspiring, or like very supporting. It's a different feeling for us as young individuals that, hey, you can dream big, and there are people who are going to support you in your dreams. So just go ahead, do it, right? So I think that is the power that BITS Pilani gives you, that, hey, you know what, you have a very good sounding board, a safety net, go ahead, dream big. And like, if you see today, there are tons and tons of like, startup founders, corporate leaders, politicians who've come out of BITS. And I think it's just that feeling of like, hey, I have a safety net, I have a brother who I can just reach out to. So that's something that BITS has given us. Yeah.
You're right. And imagine some of these people, most of these people are what, 45, 50, 55 years old, right? 25, 30 years old, older than you. And still they did not hesitate. And so that shows how strong that spirit is. But what about leadership? What about entrepreneurship? What about success and failure? Going out there and creating something. So your stories are full of that. Does BITS teach you something about it? Has it been teaching?
Absolutely.
What? Can you throw some light on that?
Durjai, take that up. He's better suited to answer that.
Sure. Actually, the amazing thing is that Pilani campus especially is an isolated place. It's an isolated haven, as we like to call it. There are no restaurants, malls, anything of an urban distraction, so to speak. So the only thing you can do is turn to your peers, turn to your seniors, juniors, collaborate, bounce off ideas, think of new ventures, and out of necessity, you create something really innovative, really beautiful. And that is one of the best things about the college. Also, BITS boasts of 0% attendance policy. The college doesn't ask you to come for lectures. There are no attendance, and it's not mandatory. So they're not trying to govern your lives. They realize that you are adults, you are above 18, you're adults, you know that what is good for you and what is not. So with freedom, again, you get a lot of responsibility, and you can make or break your life, because those 4 or 5 years are so pivotal. And if you take charge of your life, every aspect of your life, be it your acads, be it your co-curriculars, you can again, like Gaurav said, dream big and achieve that. So that is something that sets BITS apart.
That's very refreshing for me to hear, because that's not how 99% of Indian institutes are.
Yeah. And right? Just a small addition there related to the living conditions of Pilani, right? We are born and brought up. I mean, you see a AC in Durjai's room. There is an AC in my room. When we go to BITS, it's a shock. Like, you can't. I mean, it's a 8 by 10 car room. It's even smaller, right? And that is your life. That is where you live. So from that to, and the weather of Pilani is harsh, like extreme winters, extreme heat. So we learn to live in adversities, and I think that prepares us for the world. Yeah.
Okay. Last question. What can readers expect? At its essence, what can they expect from your book? Why should they buy it?
Durjai, want to take that up?
Yeah, sure. So we have spent 3 years crafting this book to cater to every kind of demographic. So the viewers, the readers, if you're in high school, we really hope that this book inspires you, motivates you to look forward to your college life, where you'll have a lot of fun, you'll meet great people, and just to realize that there are 4 or 5 years that you should really look forward to. And people who are in college, we really hope you realize the gravity of these 4 or 5 years, how your career can just be slingshotted to another orbit altogether, and the connections that you make here, they are here to stay. They are here to stay for all your life. So we really hope you like that. And for the people who have graduated, we really hope that this tinge of nostalgia hits you. We really hope that you remember your college days with similar fondness as we do. And we hope that the stories and journeys that are mentioned in the book, they inspire you, they help you maneuver through your professional journey, as well as dabble with your personal lives, and help you make a meaningful impact with your life and career.
Gaurav?
Yeah, no, fairly captured by Durjai. And just, I mean, about the journeys and stories also, right? Like Pooja mentioned about Mr. Hari Menon. So Big Basket today is such a big name, right? And especially like, since we are at the Bangalore Business Lit Fest, like it's a startup born out of Bangalore, right? So, I mean, a lot of these stories of how these startups were born, a lot of corporate leaders, how did they rise through the ladder and are creating impact, right? So yeah, this is what you can expect from the book. So thanks. I think, yeah, this is what we had to share, and do let us know. Share your feedback. We are active on Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever. So do share feedback for first time authors. Thanks.
So people in the audience, do pick up the book. And Gaurav and Durjai, lovely chatting with you. All the best, all the very best for your book.
Thank you, Ganesh. Thank you, Pooja.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank you so
Gaurav.
much, everyone.
Thanks, Durjai.